Hey friends, welcome to my 1 year anniversary boob job video. So I can't believe it's already been 1 full year officially this month since I've got my boob job. That went by super quick, but I have to tell you it's definitely been a journey since then. If you haven't already checked out my other 3 videos in regards to boob jobs, what you need to know, more details about what happened then, make sure to go to my YouTube channel and look for the boob job videos, just 3 of them. And then also make sure to go to the link in my bio from Instagram to check those out too. Those go into detail about things you want to look into before your boob job, and then some things you want to do to prepare for that as well. I went ahead and asked my followers and my friends if they had any specific questions about boob jobs that I'm going to answer today, but then I'm also going to go over a few things that I want to share that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to getting a breast augmentation. So here's one. I got my handy dandy notebook. So first one is, was recovery rough? Now that's a hard question because recovery is really unique to each individual and how your mindset is. But for me, I think the hardest thing when it comes to recovery was my mindset in gaining back the existing strength that I had before. I'm very heavy into fitness, and as most of my friends know, friends and family, I am a pole fitness instructor. So I had to stop for months and find a way to get my strength back. That was the hardest thing, is trying to do even easier things that I used to do right before my surgery and not being able to do that. It was very frustrating. So for me, that was the hardest thing, is more your mindset when you're starting to get back to doing all these normal things. And for me, the more strength-based things. Now, the actual recovery, you can watch my other videos, and lots of other videos out there will kind of give you more of an actual glimpse into how recovery was. That brings me to my next question that I was asked. Did I have any side effects, or do I still have any side effects till this day? You know, any issues that went wrong. So for me, again, my surgery was really standard, nothing crazy that happened. Thousands, millions of people have the same situation that I had, which I'm very thankful for. Now, a couple things that I did want to go over is, one of the main issues that I did have was when I stopped the meds that my doctor prescribed and told me to take during and after, for the few days to a week after my surgery. I did have a reaction when I stopped. I noticed heat rash popping up in certain areas, and then it really just almost covered my whole body. Unfortunately, it was summer, so I thought it was just heat rash, but it did last for a few weeks, and I think what made it worse was the fact that it was so hot. It was summertime. Let's try to stay cool, nothing too crazy, or no intense creams and stuff, just some lotions, cold baths here and there. But it was very frustrating having heat rash all over your body while you're also trying to go through recovery too. So some things that always happen to most girls, and you'll see it when you research other videos, is bloating. A lot of people go through some bloating right after your surgery because of all the meds they put you on to put you to sleep. I was not even kind of hungry. The only reason I ate anything was because I didn't want to throw up when I was taking my med. So I would always eat one cracker and drink some water, and then take whatever pills I was supposed to take. I literally didn't even have a meal for the first 3 to 4 days. Those are the only side effects that I could think of when closer to when I actually had my surgery. After that, it's just your actual recovery period. Okay, so the next thing I really want to go over, and someone did ask too, your strength, right? So my implant is under the muscle. And for me specifically, before going into my surgery, my chest muscles were so much more developed than I even knew, and my doctor even knew either. Like, they were really tight, and I use them all the time, especially for what I do in pole. So putting my implant under a very developed and more tight chest muscle made recovery so much more different. Like, I had no clue this was how it was going to feel, and trying to gain back my upper body strength has been almost like the hardest thing when it comes to recovery. Now, I think the biggest thing when it comes to gaining your upper body strength back after is just getting used to your new normal. Depends on the implant placement, the implant type, and the placement. Again, my situation was tight chest muscles, very big implants under the chest muscle. So if you think about, if you have your hand here and you put something under your hand and you like push down and then release, every time you contract your chest muscle, it's literally pushing into your implant. And although it seems like it shouldn't make a big deal, the fact that your implant is under your chest muscle, and every time you engage your chest muscle, which is a lot, and you wouldn't know how much you engage your chest muscle until you have an implant under it, or until you have an injury too. So anyways, every time it engages, it literally pushes the chest muscle. So I can just sit here and do this, and you can see the implant move because my chest muscles engage and pushes the implants. Every time I do that, I have this weird feeling because the implant's in there. It almost feels like it's going to pop or something bad's going to happen. But that's my new normal. That's the new normal, ladies. So just saying, these are things you have to look forward to. Some people get the implant on the outside of the muscle. I didn't have enough fat tissue to do that, and my implant was way too big, and you'd be able to see it like through my skin. So he suggested to put it under, and a lot of girls go under too, for lots of other reasons, and you can do research into that. I could do push-ups like nothing, but now it's kind of like I just have a hesitation because of the feeling just doesn't feel right. When it comes to pull-ups, those are a little easier because it's not completely only your chest. Things with pole. Now, when I started to get into pole, I could hardly even hold myself up from falling to the floor. And that was very frustrating. Again, that was the hardest part, is the mindset of gaining back my strength and finding and getting used to that new normal. Long story short, ladies, you're really going to have a strong mindset going back into your recovery when you're building your strength back, especially if you were already really strong. Like, it's very frustrating. That's all I have to say. But what you want to do is, first of all, before you get into any of that, you want to just listen to your doctor. You might feel good and like you can do it, but he has done this surgery for billions, not billions, a lot of people. So listen to him. He knows what he's talking about, so just listen to him. When he says you're good to go slowly, whatever, light weights, listen, right? But when you are ready and fully clear to do anything, just take it slow, right? Get used to that new normal feeling when you're starting to do these strength-based exercises. Easy things like driving will be very hard. Opening my flask is still kind of really weird, and it's weird that you could think that opening your flask engages your chest muscle, but just saying, it was very hard for me at first, and I couldn't even do it, so I drank out of cups with straws for a very long time. Find what is okay and what isn't okay. Don't push it. Have a great, strong mindset, but listen to your body at the same time. Slowly but surely, you will get back to where you are. You still have that existing strength, but now because of the implant, it's going to feel a little different, and your body's going to react a little differently too. So take your time, have a strong mindset, know you will get there. Great, strong mindsets and consistency with doing these exercises are going to help. Start from, the very easiest modifications of a push-up, a wall push-up, and slowly start to make the incline less and less and less, or bring your upper body more in line with your feet. Go on your knees. Do half push-ups. Do whatever you have to do, but don't go straight into an actual push-up unless you're ready. Okay? So this was the most frustrating thing for me, which is why I wanted to take a longer time about it. If you still have questions about how I slowly but surely got back, I'm not even 100% back to where I was before my surgery, just saying. I was very strong and I can do a lot of things, but I am slowly getting there and a lot more consistent now. But if you have questions, please DM me and let me know. I'll be more than happy to help you and answer any other specific questions. All right, so now let's talk about the drop and fluff. So some of you will know what this is, but basically what the drop and fluff is your boobs going into more of a natural looking position. So everyone is different. This will take up to 2 years for some people for it to really get to where it's going to be. Sometimes less, sometimes a lot less, but everyone is different, right? So drop and fluff. When you first get your boob job, your doctor's putting the implant in, your muscles are completely relaxed, right? You are under. When you wake up, your muscles wake up, they engage, they push your implants all the way up. Now, for me, like I mentioned before, I had very tight chest muscles, very developed, and my implants very big. So mine were pushed all the way up to right under my collarbones. They stayed there for a while. And I'll show pictures so you can compare, but they were all the way up here. Now I'll show you a few different pictures of right after, and then some that were like 2 months after, and then you can compare to now, which it's a year after. So it took a while for them to get to this natural state. They're also going to look very weird, sometimes very boxy, like literally like a square box on your chest in the recovery process. So don't get scared if right after your surgery they look very, very weird. Just give it some time. Your muscles will start to relax and get used to this new thing under them, and they'll start to go to more of a natural state. Like, I really hated my implants for a few weeks, and then they started to drop a little more. You know, I took pictures every day and I compared the distance from my collarbone, and now they've dropped down to more of a natural looking state. They also look very like tight and hard, but also this will depend. Like, everyone's so unique. So some people it'll drop quicker. A couple of reasons why is, for me, my implants are a lot bigger than I ever was before. You know, I had lost weight, so my boobs shrank and they were really small and flat. But even when they were full before I lost weight, they were never this big. So when you put something bigger in something that wasn't ever that big, it takes time for the skin to adjust and stretch. Yeah. So long story short, your drop and fluff period or time frame will be very different. For me, I feel like it took me almost a full year to get to more of a nicer, more natural, softer state. Yeah. So be mindful of that. You know, for me, that process was more mental. I was just very like, I didn't like the way they looked for quite a while, but you know, I love the way they looked. I really was happy with it, but I knew that was going to take a while for me because my skin needed to stretch. You know, this big implant was in a small little space and my muscle needed to relax as well and get used to the implant being behind it. I was mad because I took a lot longer than most. Some people have more skin, or their skin is more stretched out. So you put a big implant in there, it's fine. It'll drop quicker. For me, my implant was so much more bigger than my boobs ever were. So it took a while for my drop and fluff to happen, but I am very happy with it now. All right, so some things that a lot of people don't talk about and I want to throw out there into space. When you're getting your boob job, for me, like I said, I had lost a lot of weight, so I did not have a lot of breast tissue to begin with. That's why my implant went under the muscle, main reason. Sometimes you can put it in front of the muscle if you have enough breast tissue to cover the actual implant. And I think when you have my situation, just a little bit of breast tissue in front and then you put the implant behind, the shape of your breast will also take some time to adjust and look a little more normal. Now you're going to see the difference, or you're going to see the breast tissue over, now you're not going to see the actual like tissues, but you're going to see a difference with the breast tissue in front of the muscle and then your implant behind. You know, you're going to see the shape of the implant behind your chest muscle, then you're going to see your breast tissue. Like for me, I can see the difference, you know, in clothes and everything you can't. But when you're naked, you're going to see a difference, and it might look a little weird at first. The shape's going to be a little different because you see this beautiful implant shape, and then you see your breast tissue just trying to figure out where it's supposed to go. You know, I think that's also in the drop and fluff phase. So just know that if you're like me, I got my big chest, my big implant under my chest muscles, and then I had a very small amount, like you'll see pictures as well, very small amount of breast tissue in front. So that breast tissue is taking a while to develop in shape as well. It is kind of still a little weird, but that is a thing, right? And that's only if you had a really small amount of breast tissue in front of your chest muscle, and then you put a really big implant behind. So keep that in mind. That might be a thing that if you are going through now, you're not the only one. And also if you're in the same situation as me, you're going to get a boob job, that might be something that you see. So don't freak out. It is a thing, and it might take some time for that to shape and look better. So next one is your nipple sensitivity. Now this is also something that I don't really hear a lot of people talk about, although you'll see people write about it or quickly go over it. Your doctors will go over it and tell you, but sometimes it never comes back. Sometimes it does, 100%. Sometimes only one does and the other doesn't. Sometimes half of one does and then half of the other doesn't. Like there will be partial, there will be full, and there will be absolutely nothing. So be prepared for that. Yeah, if you're okay with that and it doesn't even matter, then how is that person? I was like, I don't care. It's not a really big deal for me. Some people, it is. You're going to be able to function everything properly. Sometimes it'll still be doing its thing, but you're not going to feel anything too. Yeah. So it'll still go soft, hard, all the things, but you're not going to feel anything. Yeah. Scars. So I do see people talk about scars, and I'll try to take a good picture, but my scar at this point is very small. You can hardly see it, and it's also under, so unless I really stretch out and lay down and let my boobs go all the way up, then you'll be able to see it. But in a natural state, you will not be able to see them. I got mine under here, so they're hardly visible. You can, if you're very conscious about it and you just don't want any type of scarring, your same doctor can probably do some kind of like laser treatments to make them very light or hardly visible. There's also some things that you can actually stick on that help with taking the scar away too. And sometimes the products that you can stick on that help the scarring, you can use later. It doesn't have to be right away, especially if you're not quite ready to do that kind of stuff on there. But just make sure to do your research on that if scarring is something that you are thinking about. I had drainage too, so I also have a little bit of scarring in my armpit, but also I don't care. I'm not going to stand there with my arms all the way up so people can stare into my armpits. And unless you're looking for a scar, you're probably not going to notice. It's in my armpit. All right, so I only have a few more things. One thing that I was not prepared for, and I found out after, is acne in your cleavage boob area. I've never had acne on my chest or in between here for obvious reasons because I hardly had any boobs. So that might be a thing. So as you start to get back into more activity, or even before, but this happened when I started to sweat more, I was getting back into physical activity, you're going to notice or probably notice or possibly notice some acne. And I noticed very well. So I just took more time to scrub and actually use some of my acne based products. I use my acne wash here to clear it up. But just make sure when you're taking a shower, it's not just a light little wipe, but you want to actually scrub. Here, you can hold on to your sweat and it stays in your pores. And unless you actually scrub it, you're going to get acne. It's like back acne. We can't reach certain areas of our back, so we don't sit there and scrub it. But make sure you just exfoliate enough. And if it's a really bad issue, just if you use acne based products on your face, make sure you use it on your chest as well. So that was something, but now it doesn't happen too much, but I just had to make sure that I exfoliate more in between. Boom, all around. Last but not least, again, I want to stress that your results, your end results are going to vary. You can have the best doctor in the whole world do your surgery, but your body is so unique. They can only guess and have a really good estimate on how things are going to end up for you. But the way your body reacts to the drugs you're put under, the meds that you're taking afterwards, the actual surgery, and the recovery process is so unique to you that it's so hard to tell and be prepared for 100%. But I'm not trying to scare you, but I just want you to know that results vary 100%. All your friends could have had amazing results, and for you, in your mind, you're gonna think that yours do not look great. But just remember, this is just like a body image thing, you know. Don't stress out if it's not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect anyways, Don't be comparing yourself, your boobs, your implants to other people's and be like, oh, I like hers better, why do mine look like this or whatever. Especially if you're still in the first year, give your body time to adjust. This is a huge thing you just did to your body. So sometimes it takes a while for it to fully drop and fluff, like I was saying. So that's one thing I wanted you to really hear, is that every body is so unique in how it heals, how it reacts, how it feels, how it ends up looking. Your lifestyle affects that as well. So much things. So just be prepared to be patient with your body as you go through this healing recovery process of both aesthetic and actual physical mental. It's gonna target and hit every single one of those. So aesthetically, it'll get to where you are very, very happy. At first it's really crazy, mentally, physically. Just be ready to be strong mentally, have that strong mindset of getting back to where you were before, being consistent with working out, and slowly but surely not rushing it, getting back into doing the things that you were doing before. Like I said, small things are going to be very weird, but you will get used to it again. It's a matter of just taking your time, knowing what the new normal is, and not rushing it, listening to your doctors. Regardless, just make sure you are 100% happy that you are actually doing this for you, no one else, because it's going to be in your body. So if you don't even care about having boobs, then don't do it. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for you, boo. Always do it for you, nobody else. So if you're 100% happy and this is for you, this is what you want, then you go ahead and do it. Just do your research. Let me know if you have any questions at all. And that is the end of this video. If you want more, make sure to check out my other videos. I have 3 other videos on boob jobs that kind of go over different aspects that I made just about a year ago, and I may answer more of your questions. All right, babe. So I may throw up another video in another year or so just to give you more updates on it, and if people have more questions. If not, I will see you soon, and take care. Mwah.